Mm. I must appeal to Babangida. If he really truly loves Nigeria, he should set Nigeria free. If he becomes a civilian, as the army seems to be telling him to do now, it will make things a lot easier. Because to be one civilian against the other, a man with a loaded gun, it takes a lot of courage to confront him the way God has had to make me do in the last few days, in the last few weeks. But if he did not want a transition, why order an election? Why raise the hope of...
Right, that was the man, MK Abiola, billionaire, mega man, you know, the pillar of sport in Africa at that time, and the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land at the time as well. And he spoke, you know, during that struggle, especially when the then head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who has that theme or alias of Maradona, kept dribbling the entire nation, kept postponing, and you could see the man saying, why will you, you know, be putting up dates when actually you're not ready? But now, that's the man you are seeing. And this picture was quite and has been an iconic one in one of those struggles when he was apprehended. You know, one of our guests talked about the Kudirat declaration. So many stories to tell. But then let's fast forward to yesterday. The honors list that was read about the president, where he said he started in this light, this from Mr. President, in this light, announced the conferment of posthumous national honor of CFR Kudirat Abiola, the heroine of the June 12 struggle. That was the Iron Lady, the wife, one of the wives of MKO, then Kudirat Abiola. And he said the Order of the Niger, Commander of the Order of Niger, CON award on Unwusu, that's the man who superintended the elections at that time. All right. And the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, on Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, who also died in the struggle. And now the posthumous National Honors Award, Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, GCFR, of Nwusu, CON, Rear Admiral Ndubuisi Kanu, CON, Alhaji Balarabe Musa, CFR, Alfred Ruwani, CFR, Bagudokato, OON, Chima Ubani, OON, Bekora Samkuti, CON, Alao Akabashorun, CON, Chief Franco Kore, CON, Ziazu, OON, Bamidele Aturu, OON, Frederick Fashim, CON, Professor Festus Ziyai, CON, John Yiman Sen, ON, Sawaba Gambo, CON, Dr. Alex Hebrew of The Guardian, CON, Chibola Ige, the Cicero of SRK, CFR, and the Senator Ayofasomi, CON, Polycarp Nwite, CON, Nuruddin Olowo Popo, CON. And apart from these individuals, Tinubu honors some distinguished Nigerians, including Femi Falana, Wole Soyinka, Bishop Asan Kuka, you know, that's the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, and Olatunji Dare, Kunle Ajibade, Nosaigi Abodakpo, Olorun Yomi, Bayo Nanuga Ayobe, and many, many, you know, we can't exhaust this list now. Gentlemen, very important, by the way, I must say, that the Ogoni 9, you know, led by the late environmental activist and writer Ken Saro-Wiwa, also got national honors and national pardon as well. He said, furthermore, also confer posthumous national honors on Ken Saro-Wiwa, the leader of the Ogoni and his fellow travelers, Saturday Dobe, Daniel Boko, John Boen, Barinem Kiobel, and he said, I shall also be exercising my powers under the prerogative of mercy to grant these national heroes a full pardon, together with others whose names shall be announced later in conjunction with the National Council of State. Now, gentlemen, let me start with Comrade, because you were talking before we went on break. You have seen the list. Are there anyone in the list that are undeserving or that is undeserving? Or better still, do you think there are others that should have been in the list?
Well, I was going to latch on that. For those of us in this part of the divide, the campaign for democracy...
What divide? How do you mean?
The southwestern part.
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Right.
Now, you're talking about the insistence on that election. And Professor Olorode is not part of those on that list. They virtually locked down everywhere on account of campaigning for democracy. I think his vice chairman was late Apollo Adeoye of Ife. Those were people that made sure the student population across Nigeria were the driving force for the struggle for June 12. Elanra Arogundade is not on that list. So it appears all of those people who still have their voice with the masses of Nigeria were cherry-picked and excluded. Because that's, I mean, a deeper fashion will probably be at the Take It Back or another rally on June 12 of yesterday. You understand?
So you see the list as political?
No, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying now is, some people are friends of Asiwaju, of course, during the struggle. Majority of them are on that list. That even when they disagree, they joke about it and all, but they are still close friends. And it's like I said earlier, you have been too quiet, you don't know where you stand. Okay, come into the vehicle. So it's now for that person to say, I cannot in clear conscience. But Eni Yoshundare was not on that list. Because how can somebody write, my Lord Justice, where do I put your bribe? I mean, that is talking against what some people represent in governance. And so when we don't see such people, some of us would want to know what is very old man now, Professor Eni Yoshundare, writing in his poems about Nigeria now, of today. When you start speaking such of, you discover that list is
Comrade, if I may brought in, the fact that those eminent Nigerians that you talked about are not there, does that water down that list?
You don't get the drift.
No, I don't.
What I'm saying is, some have a mass appeal. Some have still true their grounds. Yes, I'm interested in fashion. I mean, Femi Falana being on the list.
Frank Kokori wasn't that list.
He's late.
Yeah, I know.
Falana is alive.
Yeah.
He has been virulent. He has been vociferous on what is happening to governance in Nigeria, and he's on that list.
Right.
And we want to see if you will comment on it or you will go there and start for the celebrations. I don't know if they've had the ceremony yesterday. But more importantly, the list is a call to service to everyone on that list to speak up now. Let's know where you stand. Let's have your assessment of the government that has given you honors. I give it to Professor Wole Soyinka. In his old age, he has paid the dues. He has done so much for Nigeria. So every award that he gets from his friend is okay. If he doesn't speak, I think we will understand that you don't rustle the nest that you have your chickens in.
All right, comrade. Coming to you, Bishop, still on the list, on the awards, right there in that list. Before now, there's been this debate, even in the National Assembly, concerning Humphrey Wonsu, the man who superintended that election. Some people said he doesn't deserve the award. I mean, they were divided. Some people said he actually did the right. There was nothing he could do at that point because Nigeria was under military rule. Now he has been posthumously honored. Looking at that and still some other names on that list, what's your impression of the list of those awarded, both posthumously and those still alive?
Well, I'm going to say this before I even dwell into the issue of the award list. You know, I've mentioned the other time that those who are supposed to be on that list are the people and the young ones on the street who are grown now, but they are not there. Yesterday, in Osun State, let me just put as a point of, I was shocked to see Osun civil societies having, in collaboration with Osun State government, having a June 12 celebration. This celebration, we'll call it a celebration protest. I think that's strange, because the civil society ought to have been the people that will put the government on their feet.
So you see it as an aberration? It's
an aberration. You see the civil society as, I'm not against the state government. No, not at all. I'm even not against any government. We pray for them because that's our duty. But for you to now see also civil society coming together in collaboration, I saw that, in collaboration with Osun State government, you wonder what they are doing together. I don't know what the cats and the rats are doing together. What's their relationship? I think that should be condemned. I think the civil society should come out and refine or redefine themselves. It doesn't matter, maybe some of them are part of this government or being appointed in this government. Right, they can. But when it comes to civil society, they are expected to represent the people. They are expected to bring light onto the activities of the government. But when you now collaborate with them, when we now do things together, then it means the people may not have voice again. I think that is about that. And on the issue of the award, well, one is really surprised to see some names. No, I'm not really surprised to see some names. As far as Humphrey Nwosu is concerned, I don't want to say that the man should not be honored. He faced fire. It was a moment that was so tough for him because as an individual, there was a time we learned where we reported that he fainted and all of that. A lot of things happened because he was announcing the result of the election. He felt that he had succeeded. And suddenly, somebody just came up and said, look, you cannot. The man who appointed him just came up and said, look, there's nothing you can do. You cannot do that. Don't forget that though it was called independent, is it NEC? What do you call it? Is it NEC? Because there are a lot of names you have.
It was NEC.
Okay, it was NEC.
National Electoral
As at that
Commission.
time, there was not equal. He had overseen the best election in Nigeria, the best election so far, free and fair election. But suddenly, he was announcing the election. I think he had announced about 19 states out of
12 out of 19.
12 out of 19 states, and then suddenly someone just came up and said, look, you cannot go on with it. And these are the people who had guns. Like everybody has said, I don't know, maybe you are here during the time of the military, particularly when you are practicing. It is not, the military era isn't an era of joke because you can even leave this studio and then you are held up. You don't know where you are being thrown to. Maybe they take you to Madogri or to Jos or anywhere. And so it was a tough time for him. And so for him to have been or not, well, I don't say anything.
That's a good move.
I don't see anything wrong in it. It was not really easy for him. You could have said he will resign. Even if he resigned, he can even not say he will resign because he was in a difficult situation. He was surrounded by the military. He was surrounded by the security. Where is he going to? He cannot even speak. I heard there was an occasion in Lagos when I think at Hilton Hotels in Lagos. I was the one who represented my newspaper there. That man, we asked him several questions. He was just playing like this. He can't even talk. He can't even open his mouth. That was when the representative of United Kingdom and United States came to Nigeria to want to find solution to that crisis. I was one who covered that assignment that day. And it was there. He was surrounded by the military. The SSS boys are not, they call them SSS then. We call them the secret police people all around him.
NSO,
and that's all of that. So there's nothing he can do at that moment. Now he's dead. I don't see any reason why he should not be honored.
Bishop.
I think it was not, he did not only conduct, don't forget, it was not only the presidential election he conducted. He conducted the governorship election, conducted some other elections. Let us give it to him.
Now, we are almost out of time. My parting shot for you is this. I've been on a program where we discussed this before. Okay. You told me, by the way, respectfully speaking, that you even suffered personal tragedy.
Yeah.
At that point, if you can do that in 1 minute or two, you know, and do you now see, as somebody who worked with him, who saw him, who interviewed MKO, many persons are saying that a quoted declaration, maybe for the benefit of hindsight, it was a bad call. Do you see it that way as well?
Well, I think
maybe you should have held on a little bit longer. Maybe it was pushed.
Well, what really aggravated that, I think, let me say this. There was a time I started, I blamed myself, or I felt guilty for that interview that led to the issue of declaration. And it was a small thing. I had an interview with him. That time there was no internet. And then I went to Nitel, they called it then, to call my office. I said, I've just had an interview with MQ, was very rare. And they said what was about it. And I told them that the man vowed that he will form his own government. That was just it. The man vowed. You know what happened was that the question I asked him was a kind of question that would make him to be angry. Like instigator. Yeah, that's it. Because what I said was that people died in Lagos, people died in Ibadan, people died in this. Are you going to abandon them now? And the man whom said, no, go and tell Nigerians I am not going to abandon them. Go and tell Nigerians I'm going to form my government. And that was the same thing that led. And so the second day, all the newspapers, Concord, Punch, name it, reported the same story. I was the only journalist there. Reported the same story and said, what do you call it? MK Abiola vowed to form his government. That same day, like I mentioned the other time, the other people there held a press conference in Aso Rock and said Abiola should dare it. And that was what really happened. And then before you realize it, you know, other interests will come up, Afenifere, Jacon, all of them. I know he must have even talked to international communities, maybe they are.
So do you think it was a bad call for MKO to have come out?
Well, as at that time, there was no, he was not only taking decision for himself. There are a lot of people fighting the same cause that would tell him and say, well, go and dare the military. And so there was nothing they could do. Don't forget that he first of all fled Nigeria, and later he came back. It was a momentum times when he came back at, I think I was in the Ekiti State then, when he came back and was welcome at the airport. And so he was not taken. There are some people all around him. A lot of people took decisions for him. And because of that, we see what has happened today. Very unfortunate that he will, but of course, maybe at that time, he wouldn't have had option. Even if he didn't declare, he may have, one way or the other, may have found a way to kill him, just like they killed Baba friend Rewane and the wife. They might have found a way, yes, of killing him. But what I also say is that I still believe in me that we have not been told the truth about what led to the annulment of June 12. And one day we will.
It's part of what IBB said recently?
No, it was not said.
You think it's more than that?
No, more than that. There are still some deep truths that we have not had.
And as they say, time reveals everything. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time today. There will always be a lot to really talk about. Comrade Larry Fadamsi, and of course, Bishop Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. Thank you for your time as well on the program. Daniel, Moscow.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful week. Thank you so much to you, our distinguished viewers all over the world. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next week on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Emeka Daniel is my name. I wish we could really continue this, but we really have to go. So do have a wonderful weekend.
Oh, and of course, we appreciate the production team for working with us on this. Femi Ojo is my name. I'm in Nigeria, full-blooded. I want this nation to work. We all want this nation to work. And it will work even beyond us. Thank you for staying with us. I built democracy day in arrears, by the way. And you can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. By the way, I'll leave you with this video. And it might be quite humorous. It was taken at a moment of despair, you know, by a former governor, two-time governor, a political warlord, who is still a minister, who was on a plane. And the plane had issues. You could see him screaming, and many persons have been saying, you know, it shows the transient nature, and anything could happen to anybody at any time. The man has spoken about it and even, you know, humorize what really happened.
He doesn't want to see God.
Well, yes. I won't be the one to say the name of the person. But Femi Ojo's money, we'll see you. You should take a look. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
No, we are climbing 340. Yeah, we need to reduce. Don't need rest. Select the